Out the Box podcast is going to serve as the funeral for the 2021 LSU baseball season. LSU went a quick 2-0 up in Knoxville. It got a little ugly towards the end, but we're going to recap the Tigers season, how we got to that point. We're going to talk about what Coach Maneri meant to the program. We're going to take a look at a few potential coaches to fill the shoes of Paul Maneri and just kind of put a cap on honestly a very up and down LSU baseball season. So we're going to get to that. We're going to bring back the House Always Wins segment. Kind of a quick episode this week, but it's kind of how you would want a funeral to be, quick. So before we get to all that, I want to give a huge shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network, the home of the Out the Box podcast. We text with Justin, one of the owners and founders of Boot Crew Media, and he gave us some insight. I'm not sure if we can share it yet, but he gave us some insight to some great events. We're adding events. We already got blogs, podcasts, entertainment for hours. We're adding events. Events are popping up all over the place. The guys over at the Sportsman's Paradise podcast, they got a fishing rodeo that they do, all kind of stuff going on. And you know where you can find that, Luffy?
Boot Crew Media.
BootCrewMedia.com and on the Boot Crew Media Instagram, Twitter, you name it. Make sure to follow them. That is the home of the Out the Box podcast. And also, since we are recapping the LSU baseball season, we are going to shout out the sponsor of all of our LSU baseball recaps for this season. And you know what? I'm going to kind of tie in two of our sponsors together in this. I'm going to morph them into one. So, Luffy, what is the best beer out of Baton Rouge?
Rally Cap
Brewing. Luffy, what is the best person to go to if you want to buy the home of your dreams, sell the home of your dreams, buy the new home of your dreams, or to rent? It's Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. And both are fantastic contributors to their respective markets. Blaine is the best at what he does, and Blaine wants you to know that interest rates are at an all-time low and the real estate market has never been hotter. At the speeds these homes are selling right now, you need a certified professional. You need Blaine. Blaine will help you navigate your way to the house of your dreams. He'll be your friend, your neighbor, and your agent. Call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing needs. Keller Williams is an equal opportunity housing partner. Each office is independently owned and operated. Also, Blaine is fresh off of vacation, and he is ready to get back and grind. Summer is his. It is what is it right now, a seller's market? It's a seller's market. So if you want to sell the house of your dreams, buy the house of your dreams, hit up Blaine, 504-858-0031. Also,
while you're closing your home deal out or selling your home, you can celebrate with a couple Rally Cap brews.
Absolutely. And Rally Cap this past Friday dropped the double dry hop version of their signature beer. It was already a fantastic IPA, and anytime you double dry hop a beer, it makes it that much better. The First Pitch beer, that was their first one, their flagship beer, now in double dry hop. It will be hitting the markets in the next week or so. You can go run by the brewery and pick it up. It is fantastic. And as usual, they had another packed weekend over there at Rally Cap. Make sure to check them out on Instagram at Rally Cap Brewing. All right. We're going to take a moment of silence. We're going to kind of collect ourselves after what was, honestly, it felt like an absolute roller coaster. It felt like we got off and we're determining whether we want to throw up or get back in line and do it again. And I guess for me, the nausea is subsiding. The mouth sweats are going away. I'm getting back in line. There's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot of things to be proud of for this season. I guess what are the initial statement, Rory? If we were in a courtroom, what would your initial statement be on the season as a whole, and then we'll kind of break down the two games up in Knoxville?
I think in general, the opening statement, I would say, Your Honor, may it please the court.
Yes, granted.
I'm Rory Luke here in defense of LSU baseball. The season was tough. ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the season was tough. We came in with high expectations. They weren't as high as they've been in the past. And at the end of the day, we did meet those expectations. We were ranked 15th to start the year. We ended the season in the top 16 teams. It's hard to beat that. And to anybody to say that this season was a disappointment, they would be wrong. To get to the Super Regional after how we started in SEC play, I mean, it's just a wonderful thing, and we really had to do it. And is my mic on?
Of course. I hear you. Loud and clear.
Okay.
Mic check. Court reporter, restart. All right.
And, there are definitely some negatives with this season, but I think overall you have to look at it in a positive light. We had some wonderful freshmen come out and play like all SEC level performance, and Dylan Cruz, Trey Morgan, great guys. Jordan Thompson holding down the shortstop position for a while. And we had an amazing year from our ace, Landon Marceau. You hate to see Jaden Hill go out as he did. I think maybe with Jaden Hill we might be in Omaha. So I think we're 1-2 guys away, and I'm excited for next year.
Yeah, the initial reaction for me is just when LSU baseball ends, it's kind of like the end of sports into the fall, which is it's the end of sports, which I care about the most, which is the 3 major LSU sports. So I definitely miss that gap and having an LSU team to watch and root for. So the summer kind of slow, but you start getting fired up for football. And like Rory said, I mean, from where we were at the start of the season to where we finished, it's kind of about where we thought we would be. And we lost probably our second best player, if not our first, in Jaden Hill. And like you said, a lot of promising young talent. We're a couple players away. We're going to have to find some pitchers. We have a breakdown that we'll get to in the offseason of just kind of position by position. But there's so much promise coming back. And if we can find the right guy, things will turn around quickly and we'll be back in Omaha soon enough.
And I mean, the thing is, to say that you need to turn around is really an overstatement. I mean, we were in the Super Regional, top 16 in the country. That's not really a down year for anybody. We'd like to get to Omaha, and we'd like to be there every year. That's just not realistic. And
made it just as far as Arkansas this year.
Exactly. And we got to a Super Regional where the same place we got in 2019 and plenty of other times. So I would not say this season was a disappointment or a downturn at all. I think when you look at the whole picture and what actually happened, it was a pretty good season.
Yeah, I mean, definitely kind of saved at the end by the regional. I think you got to be hosting a regional every year for it to be considered a good enough, and probably maybe a super regional. You have to be hosting a regional at least every year for it to be acceptable year at LSU. So y'all want to get to game one or game two? Yeah, you have to be at LSU. You have to be a top 16. There's never an excuse. You can lose 3 or 4 pitchers. You can't. It doesn't matter. 16 is the lowest we should ever be ranked going into the postseason. Y'all want to get to game 1 and 2?
Yeah, so LSU on Saturday, we knew it was going to be a tough battle. We had Mikhail on the mound. He pitched well for the time he was in. There was a lot of talk about whether he got pulled too early and whatnot.
Yeah, and let's talk about that decision. I kind of thought that it was the right call. I know 98% of people disagree, of course, what happened. At the time, I was fine with it, especially the way Coleman pitched the other night. I thought he kind of got unlucky at first, and then he settled down and looked good. So, I mean, I thought it was the right call, maybe just a little bit unfortunate. They had, the home ballpark. He was coming into a somewhat tough environment and spot, and I really didn't think he pitched that bad.
I think hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah.
I mean, if he comes in –
if it would have worked, it would have been the best move.
Yeah, like I said, I was fine with it. I know a lot of people weren't, but –
And I was listening on the radio today, and Anthony Ronaldo was on there, and obviously coming from a national champion pitcher at LSU, his thing about it was after Mikhail left the game, it was almost like he checked out. and because he felt mainly bad for Mikhail being, this might be the last time he ever pitches in a competitive atmosphere, right? And you would have liked to see, and I'll be honest, I was a fan of the move because Jamin Coleman pitched phenomenally last week in the regional whenever he was put in a tough spot. And, it's one of those things that if it works out, great.
And we said the other day, we thought if we had a chance to win the game that Coleman would be in, that they wouldn't save him for that third game. If they thought we could win the first game by shoving him in relief and he would get it done, and it didn't happen. The game wasn't his fault. We can't score 2 runs at Tennessee and expect to win. I mean, Chad Dallas has been great all year.
I mean, he ate us up in the regular season.
I think he's
series.
lost 1 game all year.
He's 11-1.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it was a tough game to win. We had a chance to win. Not enough offense. We could talk about next year forever, but we'll have to get more production and find a way to get Cruz in the 3-hole next year. If you cannot get him in the 3-hole, we're not going to be a legit team. You have to find – I mean, because I think Trey should lead off, and then you have to find a solid number 2 who can hit 320,
And I think at the beginning of the year, that guy was Giacomo, but he just kind of was hindered all year. So, I mean, we'll see what happens next year. But I think where you're at and where you left off is a very solid spot, especially with the bats.
So, and let me just kind of ask you all this. So I'm looking at the box score of Game 1 on Saturday, and we led Tennessee 8-6 in hits. Does it seem like, and this will kind of go into the next coach and the next philosophy, but does it to me it just seems like this has kind of been the story of this year. Not whenever you get runners on base, we can hit the ball with anybody if we're on, right? But leaving runners on it just seems like that plagues LSU so often. I don't know if it's the style, Maneri's philosophy or whatnot, but it almost seems like we get runners on base and a pop up ground out double play. It seems like that. Maybe it's just me being a stubborn LSU fan, but it seems like that happens to LSU so often.
Yeah, I mean, we out hit them in that first game, so I mean that's been a problem. And like we said, I think that goes back to the start of that lineup. You need to get Cruz in a position to hit when people are on base, So that's just a team effort, and we've struggled with that all year. But that's really why we've struggled. Part of the reason why we struggled.
So getting on to Game 2, Sunday game. To be honest with you, it was not fun really at all to watch. You thought for a second when in the first inning when Cruz got that solo home run that maybe LSU was going to put up a fight, but from then on, I mean, you had Tidwell on the mound for Tennessee. He's 10-3 on the year. I mean, he pretty much, he didn't even have to pitch his best game. It was our pitching staff just didn't have it, and it was almost like an avalanche. Once Marceau came out, it didn't feel the same, and Marceau didn't have his stuff. Obviously, he's been a great pitcher all year, but
yeah, I think it seems like every one of our pitchers, or the first couple, were out with injury. They said that Marceau didn't have the velo; it wasn't there, so they must have thought something was wrong and pulled him. I mean, you had to ride him 7 innings to win that game, regardless. But I mean, obviously, he couldn't go with the injury, but that was the only way we were winning that game.
It could also be just it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
And he's consistently pitched. He's been asked to pitch 100, 110, 120 at times.
Because of a weak bullpen, yeah.
And, after a while, that weighs on a pitcher and an arm, and it might have not been fatigue that he could really feel, but his body felt, and it just kind of happened.
And from what he normally does, he normally pitches on Friday night, so he has 6 days after that to get back ready for that. You could say he was on short rest solely because he pitched 150-something pitches in the weekend before. So given his normal routine, I think he was just kind of out of whack. I don't know if it would have made a difference if we would have won that game. He'd have started Monday. I mean, who's to say? But, Lovey, you've kind of been saying this all year. The fact that Landon Marceau ends the season being the LSU ace at 7-7 it's unacceptable, right?
Yeah.
And it's not his fault at all. He's pitched phenomenally all year. He's been the guy since Jaden Hill went down, and he's going to have to get some help if LSU wants any chance to win. and especially in a super regional atmosphere like this.
Yeah, and in a tiny ballpark too. Every time they hit it, I was like, well, that's gone. I mean, the one Cruz hit, it left the park by 50 yards. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a small place. I mean, not that it would have changed the outcome of anything, but it was rough. That last game was rough. I think that's about all you can say.
Yeah. It was tough to watch for sure.
Yeah, and not the ideal way that you want to seminary out. You know, I don't know if it would have been any better if it was a close game that we lost on a heartbreaker or whatever. But I think, you know, towards the end of Maneri's career, you know, LSU fans, and we're all guilty of this, right? It's kind of a, what have you done for me lately? That's in any sport, any coach. If you start to fall off when you have the expectation of when you've built yourself up to this expectation of being a good coach, a winning coach, it's tough to maintain, and that's kind of what Paul Maneri fell victim to. And I guess to send him out on my last note, he was a great coach. He was a great coach at LSU for 15 years. Yes, there were some missed opportunities, some decisions, but as everybody says, that's baseball.
And he really disliked losing. I mean, you saw him in the dugout after, and LSU meant a lot to him. I mean, he was crying for probably 20 minutes. You know, in the ninth inning, when he knew it was over, he was upset. And I think that's what you want to see in your coaches retiring. And it's good that he'll be around BR, and I'm sure he'll be some good assistance to whoever they hire. It will
be also cool to see him and Skip sitting next to each other in the games and whatnot back in Alex box. So do y'all want to kind of give an update, kind of a where we're at on the coaching search? It doesn't seem like any moves have really been made.
Yeah, and so today you probably would have thought if it was Bianco, they would have hired him. Ole Miss lost, they're out.
Or Godwin.
You know how fast – or Godwin. You know how fast things move in the college sports athletics world with big-time programs.
You got to strike while
they don't wait. Yeah, and they don't wait, and you're wasting valuable time. We've already wasted a day. We've got to re-recruit the players on our roster.
Yeah.
Especially with all the transfer rules, with a new coach. So someone's got to come in fast. Like, maybe by the time you're hearing this, we could have a coach. But
I think they might be waiting for
Vitello,
somebody that's still playing.
And if they're waiting for Vitello, then hopefully when Tennessee loses within, hours, he'll be on a plane to Baton Rouge because there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that. It's like if you have an ace in the hole and you're just waiting for the season to end, it makes you think. I mean, there's actual talks that Tim Corbin would leave Vanderbilt. Is there actually a chance of that happening?
And he tweeted the "Thank you, Paul" thing today, which I feel like was kind of a teaser towards.
Well, we don't need to read too much into that.
No, I know, but like I thought it was kind of funny that the coaching.
I think it just shows respect.
Yeah, and the timing.
But he's getting a little bit older too. I think he's got some very, very powerful years as a coach in front of him.
So if it's not Bianco and it's not Godwin from ECU, am I saying that right?
I'll tell you what. To be honest with you, I was doing a lot of research, today after LSU, ultimately lost in Knoxville yesterday, and I know they made the call to Dan McDonnell at Louisville, and he's built that program up. And I actually heard on the radio today that they weren't, in a time while he was there, they were not even charging admission to the baseball games. He's built Louisville into a stand-up program, and LSU made the call to him, and I think it was one of those things where he said, "I want to answer this out of respect, but I don't think this is the right move. I love being the coach." But who's to say that once they get out, then maybe things change?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it could be, but it seems like that's kind of fallen off a little bit in the rumor mill, and I feel like we would have known with him, but you never know. Like, I really don't know. I feel like at this point they've got to be waiting on someone still in the dance.
They got to be waiting on Tony,
because I thought today would be for sure hire day, if not tomorrow, which is when you'll be hearing this. And if it's not, I think it's probably Vitello as well. Yeah. And he's probably agreed to something, to be honest. But very impressive if they've been able to keep that under wraps.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't think really anybody has a clue what's going on right now behind the scenes, but I guess we'll see.
I think that's a good thing,
Yeah,
too.
it's definitely a good thing.
And, you know, like you said, we are in the interest of time here, but at the same time, Maneri announced his retirement before the season ended to give Woodward and all the athletic department the time to find his replacement, because the transfer portal is a real thing, and players need to know what the hell is going on at the school that they're at.
Yeah, and we have recruits coming in as well.
Absolutely. So, but that being said, I think all three of us have no doubt that Woodward is going to put his best foot forward and get the right guy.
Yeah, and we'll get into the recruiting class more, but we have some really good, talented players coming in. Obviously, the draft plays a factor into that, but we'll definitely have a breakdown, and there's some guys to be very excited about.
All right. Well, do we want to I'm trying to think of like funeral terms or whatever. But this is
Pay your respects.
Yeah. I mean, we gave a moment of silence. We said the last rites. Normally you say that before death, but anyway, you know, we're going to move on. We're going to be okay. We're going to get through the dog days of summer. We're still going to be podcasting. So hopefully we'll, Rory, we kind of have we teased it? I don't think we've teased it, but the off the charts segment, very popular segment of the Out the Box podcast, will be coming back soon as we break down each position on the LSU football depth chart. Luffy's been doing his homework. He's been checking up on all the recruits, calling them, making sure they're having fun on campus and whatnot. Not too much fun, not going to Tigerland or anything like that, but
we got a new coach. I don't know. Did we talk about that last weekend, the Brad Davis thing?
No, we did not talk about Brad Davis.
I'm super excited about Brad Davis because I think he's a bigger upgrade in the recruiting area than James Craig was.
I agree 100%.
And Rory, who knows him, agrees, which is great to hear because I don't think any player that he recruited started a game for LSU in his years. And maybe one or two games just because of injury, but none of the players he recruited were starters.
No, don't worry. I mean, that's also – he was only there for 3
years.
Yeah,
that's true, but still.
But, no, none of the players he was there recruiting. And I also saw, like, a lot of guys tweet about it. And I've heard a few guys talk about it, and they like Brad Davis.
Yeah.
And they like the energy he's bringing in and kind of revitalizing that offensive line group, which really wasn't – not a sore spot. There's a lot of guys that, I mean, the whole line's coming back.
Yep. And some big guys to close out recruiting.
Which is also year. Like, I mean, that shows to James Craig as well that he re-recruited all those players to come back. But I definitely think it's a shot in the arm, and it's going to help us in the end.
Agree.
All right. I think we're going to get to – it's a quick episode this week. We wanted it to be as quick as possible. But before we get to the House Always Wins segment, we got to shout out a couple sponsors, right?
Yes, sir. You got to call Workbox. They're a company that if you need a storage container, dumpster, portable toilets, luxury portable toilets, you have to call Martine at Workbox at 225-343-4886. They're the best in Baton Rouge. If you're building a house, if you're redoing a home, if you're having a party, if you're having a tailgate and need toilets, call Martine at Workbox. They're the fastest, cleanest porta potties out there at 225-343-4886. Call Martine at Workbox.
All right, let's get to the House Always Wins segment. The return presented by the House Bar in Tigerland. Got a lot of power moves coming up with them this summer. All right, I don't even remember what I had a couple weeks ago, but it probably won.
I think that was 4 in a row with the Suns again. And you know we're riding Suns in 4 guy. We're continuing to ride the Suns. They're gonna win the West.
They're gonna sweep the next series too.
Possible sweep. Suns in 4 guy.
I think you had the Suns to win the West last time.
Well, we didn't do it last week.
Or 2 weeks ago, I think you hopped on the Suns to win the West, right? Or maybe it was to win the series.
It was because the series wasn't over yet.
I don't know. You're riding the hell out of the Suns.
I'm going to continue to ride. I picked them, first round over the Lakers. So plus money. So we're going to keep riding. We're riding point guard CP3 and Devin Booker 228 and Suns in 4 guy. That's all we need. That's a big 3.
The Suns and 4 guy is goated.
If you haven't seen that video, just Google Suns and 4 guy.
He's being talked about like everywhere now.
I haven't seen it.
You
How
haven't
have I not seen it?
Oh my
Booker
God.
tweeted today like, I need this guy's info. That was awesome.
Suns and 4 guy.
You haven't seen the video.
I'm finding it.
It's
Rory,
like-
Rory,
on
what's your
Okay.
pick?
So I think 2 weeks ago I had Nets to win the series in 6 games, which I mean it's 2-2 right now. 2 wins by the Nets. It could be in there. I mean, we need Kyrie back for game 6.
So you don't have Kyrie or the Beard, or is the Beard coming back this series?
Beard's not back. So it's gonna be tough, but we need a big game out of KD game 5, and then we go to game 6. Maybe Reeves back.
It's going back to Brooklyn, so
I think it's a huge game for KD. He's
It
got to
is.
do it on his own for once, you know?
Yeah.
The Warriors dynasty, they could have put me in that lineup. We still would have won those championships. This is his time. Like, if he's got an all-time great, he needs to win these next 2 games, in my opinion.
He needs to win the series for sure.
Yeah.
But this week.
oh, this guy's getting thrown out, right? Is this it?
Yeah, but wait, you haven't even gotten to the good part yet.
Yeah. This is awesome.
Oh, jeez! Wow.
He just bodies these 2 guys.
Yeah. He uppercuts that dude like 4 times, and he's just talking.
Is that Jamal? It's Jamal Murray,
This
and
is
he's
a good
being hit
point.
by.
He takes down 2 Jamal Murray. That's a throwback Nash jersey. The 13.
Yeah, this is a throwback Nash in the black.
I like those.
You think
Those are
someone
cool.
would have stepped in when the guy put his head down?
No, the guys ran away. Look. He's like,
Dang.
Have you gotten to the Suns and 4 part?
And then at the end, he probably just says, "Yeah, Suns." Oh, he's holding. Oh, I see. Wow, that guy's cool.
I mean, it's honestly kind of nuts.
Wait, so are you picking the Nets? Are you doubling down on the Nets?
No.
All right.
I'm hitting a little Euro Cup soccer. Shout out to the World Sport.
they'll probably tie or something.
I just hit on the tie not but 20 minutes ago. I'm taking this is the 17th. So what is that? Thursday. So you got a few days. Belgium plus 104 over Denmark. Belgium, great team. A stacked lineup for sure.
So I just ride blind.
Ride blind 100%.
Ride blind.
Belgium won on Saturday 3-0 soccer terms, and Belgium lost 1-0. I mean, no, Belgium won 3-0. Denmark lost 1-0. So we're back in Belgium over Denmark all day. They're not going to tie. They're going to win it all.
All right, I'm a ride with you. I don't know anything about it, but I'm always in for a good house always wins pick. I am gonna take the Nets to win the series now. The series got tied up yesterday on Sunday. They play again tomorrow night, Tuesday. Kyrie went down, the Beard's down, but like y'all said, it's gonna really show how dominant Kevin Durant really is. And I think they're gonna take the series. It's plus 145. I threw some money. I already locked it in, and I have faith. And I also think they're going to win the whole thing.
I'm telling you on that one, John.
Tell me, bro. So
That is a good number.
plus 140. It's plus money. I'm giving the fans plus money.
Finally, John.
Finally. But I think that about does it for the House Always Wins segment and our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. We had a fantastic time this year covering the LSU baseball team. It was, like we said throughout the show, it was up and down. It has been our privilege to cover the Tigers this year, to break down the games, to give recaps, previews, and to spread LSU baseball and our I wouldn't really say much knowledge, but our jokes and whatnot. But we're already looking forward to football season. So we really appreciate the support. Thank you to all of our sponsors, the House Bar in Tigerland, Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty, Workbox LLC, and Rally Cap Brewing. And you guys. And the Boo Crew Media Network. The Boo Crew Media Network. I'm telling you, I cannot tell you enough that we have some insider information. It's almost like insider trading, but Boo Crew is going to pop off this summer, and it's going to be epic.
Shout out Zach Brown.
There you go.
Ooh,